Just off Route 88 and west of Wixon Homestead, we find the Alpine River Cabins. Starting from the parking area, we walk down a dirt path that brings us into a camp with several cabins. We hear screams in the distance as we approach the first cabin, and we are swarmed by ghouls. Inside this first cabin, we find some chems and various unremarkable items. Moving into the second cabin, as we loot the suitcase next to the door, we hear the picture frame rotate. There's a safe in this cabin with a holotape on top labeled Rita the Fire Breather. After unlocking the safe, we can listen to this holotape.
Hey Rita. So, right now, you're asleep, enjoying your last peaceful night's rest for God knows how long. And I thought I'd record something for you to remember me by while you're locked away inside Charleston Fire Department. Training for the prestigious opportunity to dive face first into a bunch of mine fires with the rest of those fire breather nut jobs. Honestly though, ain't no responder alive who's a better pick for that crew than you. Just make sure you don't forget the basics with all this fancy new training. Always check your seals. It's stop, drop, then roll. The order's important. And most important, don't come back all crispy. Because I love what I'm looking at right now.
Buck recorded this for his girlfriend Rita. This was done after the war, as the fire breathers were an elite unit of the responders. We will talk about them in another video. For now, let's continue on. Heading to the third cabin, we find another ghoul and hear yet more screams. But where are these screams coming from? While we're looting the cabin, an earthquake strikes. Just what is going on here? Leaving the cabin, we see a dirt path that leads to a bulletin board. As we arrive, another ghoul attacks. Next to the board is a podium with a note on it. Reading the note, April 17th, Brendan and Lori Aaronholt. Perfect place to relax for the weekend. We'll be back again soon. May 3rd, the Jefferson family. The kids loved swimming in the pond and spotting the local deer. Visitors must feed them often. They are everywhere. May 21st, James, Blake, Allison, and Stephanie. Boring. There's nothing to do around here. Won't be coming back. July 15th, the Taylors. Overall, very peaceful location. We heard some weird noises the first night. Assumed it was just some teens messing around. August 5th, Jackson and Beverly Hart. Creepy noises, bears roaming around too close at night, and I swear the pictures on the walls were changing positions. Will not be visiting again. As we finish reading the note, we hear some more screams. We also see the pond referred to by the note. In the final cabin, we find various items and another holotape titled Alpine River Cabin Complaints.
Hi, this is Gabe Ramses, and I'm leaving this message to inform the Parks and Rec Department of the horrible experience my family and I had this week at the Alpine River Cabins. Look, we were all looking forward to a nice weekend getaway in the wilderness, but between the constant shaking in the cabins, rodent swarms, and blood-curdling screams, I'm more stressed than I was before. My boys were so upset they swore they saw the picture frames spinning on the walls. My tax dollars pay your salaries, so I demand recompense, or you can bet I'll do my darndest to make sure that money is in someone else's pocket next election. And one more thing. Maybe you could get off your lazy butts and pick up some garbage here. This place is filthy. I know all the recent hubbub about atomic war, but that doesn't mean the place has to look like it was just hit with a nuclear bomb!
Gabe Ramses is a man of some influence. We don't know enough about him yet, as this is the only time he appears in the game. I hope we find out more about him in a future update, as it seems he might have been someone of importance based on his recording. How about you? Would you like to learn more about Gabe? Let me know in the comments below. Continuing on, we see a path next to the cabin that brings us to a small picnic area, and in front of the cabin, we also see a makeshift fire pit. So far, we have heard screams, seen pictures rotate, doors close, and felt earthquakes. But what is causing all of this? Well, upon looking more closely at the cabins, we see wires connected to them, and some poles. At first, this could just be the power lines for the lights inside the cabins, but when we follow the lines, we find some poles that have loudspeakers attached to them. Now things are starting to make sense. These speakers are where the screams are coming from, and the doors and pictures are powered items, causing them to be able to move. But what about the earthquakes? Heading up the hill, we find a treehouse. In this treehouse is a bed and a terminal. Accessing the terminal, we see some options. One says lure creatures, and the other says stop automated sequence. Clicking lure creatures makes the speakers emit a strange sound, and this causes more ghouls to spawn in the camp. The stop automated sequence stops the screams, the doors, the pictures, and the earthquakes altogether. After stopping the sequence, we can trigger the individual actions or simply restart the sequence again. This answers the what, but we're still left with the why. Here's what I think happened based on the information available. The owners of the cabins were noticing a decline in visitors, and based on the note we read, it would appear that the target audience was teens and young adults. As they found this place boring, the owners came up with a way to spice things up. So they shut down for a couple of months to renovate. Now it is easy to explain everything except the artificial earthquakes. As these are very localized to the camp only, I think a series of hydraulic shocks were placed underground in various locations around the camp. These shocks would operate in a specific pattern, causing the ground in the camp to shake as if an earthquake was happening. This is my best guess. The renovations were designed to create a mysterious atmosphere at the cabins. This certainly would have made the younger crowd happy, but based on the note entries, it was not having the desired effect. It seems like this happened in 2077 as the sequence was still running. Well, now that the mystery at Alpine River Cabins has been solved, we can all sleep a bit easier. One thing is for sure, as the screams can be heard from pretty far away, this location makes for the perfect Halloween-themed camp. Will you be setting up camp near here? Let me know in the comment sections below. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like and subscribe for more content. Anyway, I'm just glad you stopped by, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.